Hi, I'm Mike,
And I am Fran.
and this is Mike and Fran Unrehearsed, episode 19. Hey, how's everyone doing? I hope you're getting ready for the upcoming holiday this week, Thanksgiving. Hope you all have a safe and fantastic holiday and lots of good food that you can share with your close family relatives because those are the only people that are going to be invited to your house. Right, Mom?
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not.
Like us, just the two of us.
Well, that's right. But, I just don't know if I want to do just one turkey. I want to smoke one. Maybe I'll do the smaller one in there and buy a bigger one for there. And then we'll have turkey galore for I don't know, for the two of us,
we
probably
share
forever.
it with
Yeah, we do
the
that.
rest of the family.
Well,
but
we'll do that. We'll do a drive-by share of the turkey. Okay, we can do that, right? Anyway,
Right.
sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting so excited about cooking the turkey. But you're listening to Mike and Fran Unrehearsed on 216 The Net. That's real life internet radio on Wednesdays at noon. And I wanted to let you guys know that our official website is up, mikeandfranradio.com. I hope you guys go there, subscribe, and then, of course, go down a little bit and look at our blog because I've listed every single show that we've done on there, and I gave it a little bit of a title. So, for instance, the last show was Thanksgiving Plans, and Fran sings You Are My Sunshine. I hope you guys heard that. That was a lot of fun. Now, that's going to be a regular part of our programming now, Mom, isn't it? That you're going to sing a song? What do you think?
probably not if I can help it.
Well,
We
I could
will
dream.
see.
I could dream, couldn't
We,
I?
we will see.
I can dream. Okay.
I
I'm
will
gonna-
not count out anything
All right.
ever.
Well, that's good.
We will
I'm,
see.
I'm glad to hear that because
All right.
hopefully we can work up to something really fun
right.
pretty soon. You guys know Mom used to sing with a band. You guys knew that, right? Yeah. And she used to yodel and do all kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to get part of that in the show one of these days. Maybe. I hope so. Anyway, the other shows I have on here are little funny little titles here. Let's see here. Beetlejuice, Fran as 007's mom, and the history of Halloween. Oh, speaking of the history of Halloween, we are going to talk a little bit about the history of Thanksgiving today. We were going to do it last week, but it's like, wow, that's coming up this week, Thursday, right? That's right. So we need to do it this week. How about this one? I like this title right here. Oregon Trail and Time Travel. Ooh, that sounds like a 3-part miniseries to me. Oh, speaking of miniseries, there's a show on TV that we're going to talk about a little bit later too. That's really awesome. What's it called again, Mom? The show? It's called. What is it?
Undoing. I'm forgetting the name.
I know. Undoing
And yet
or
it's so paramount in my
Undone. Or
brain.
we're gonna talk about that show
All
a
right.
little bit because
Okay.
it is just wow. Every end of the
Tense.
show is a
Tense.
huge cliffhanger
Yeah.
that makes you want to stick around.
And
for the next
everybody
one.
we know is
But-
waiting for next Sunday night.
As soon as the
last
show is
one.
over, the phone rings and people are going, "Did you see the show? Did you see
Who
the
do
show?"
you think? Who do you think it is?
Well,
you know.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And we don't usually watch it at time because you know why? Because you got a DVR. So you pause it, you get something to eat, you get settled in, and then it's like 15 minutes after, or 20 after, or 40 minutes after, and then you're not seeing the whole show until like 10:40, and the phone's ringing off the hook. It's like they want to call and talk to you about the show, and you haven't seen it yet. Don't call me, please. I haven't seen the show yet. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. So, how about this show? Bouillabaisse and Too Much Exuberance. Mom, I'm just having a kick looking at all the titles of the shows that I came up with. They're just crazy. Tippy the Tailor measures mobsters for clothes. Man,
All
I
right.
did a lot of cool stuff, Mom. This is pretty awesome.
Okay.
Anyway, if you register to our mailing list on the site, you're gonna get some special discounts from my friend Joe the Plumber, 10% off and free estimates on any type of job that you need. And then also my friend. Well, I have a friend named Wendy Lawley who actually has a show at 216 The Net, and she's giving away a certificate. That's right. And what is a certificate? You guys want to know, right? Did I hear you ask that question? Here, ask me, Mom, what's the certificate?
What is it?
What is it? It's a free 60-minute coaching session with Wendy Lawley. That's fantastic. She's a marketing strategist and podcast host. And by the way, her show is on Mondays at 11:45, and you have to tune into it because she gives you all kind of tips and advice for marketing your company, advertising your products and also works with small entrepreneurial businesses, showing them how to make the most out of digital communications and social media, which is something you really need to know about today. So that's Wendy Lally. So tune into her show on Mondays at 11:45. You're gonna just love it. And then sign up for my subscriptions over there, and then you will get that certificate as well. Sounds good? Cool. Okay, so that's www.mikeandfranradio.com. Please go there. Don't worry about having to actually listen to the show at noon. It's okay if you can, but I know a lot of people can't. So I want you to go to the site, okay? Because you can listen to all of them there. As soon as the show airs, I'll post the new show at www.mikeandfranradio.com. Okay, sound good? Sound good, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, Mom, so here's a question. Really good question, because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. What is the history of Thanksgiving?
Well, was I going to do that now, or was I?
Oh, that's right. You wanted to, we had a friend of Mom's,
A teacher friend.
sent us an email. That's right. So what did the email say, Mom, and who was it from?
Well, Ruth Olson was your teacher,
Yes.
and she married.
Whoa, let's go back. So when we lived on Maple Lane, 459 Maple Lane, we went to Grant Wood School for grade school from 1 to 5. All right. I started at QR, Queen of the Rosary, or I don't know, I was at Salt Creek and then Queen of the Rosary. And then in the middle of second grade, you started teaching at Grant Wood. And so the kids got transferred to Grant Wood. At least I did. And then I think Lisa, and then I don't know if Vince went there or not, but I was transferred
Yes,
there
he
halfway
did.
through second grade.
Yeah.
And so I was 7 years old when I started going to Grant Wood, and I went all the way to fifth grade until we moved to the other area of Elk Grove, and then I went to Lively Junior High and then Elk Grove High School. But I had a number of teachers there that you still remembered. I still remember their names. There was Beth Taylor. There was Ruth Olson.
She was Olson then, and then she married Blom.
And there was Buxom.
Yeah,
somebody?
Buckstein, I think.
Buckstein.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got a letter from Ruth
Olson Blom.
Olson Blom, and what did she say?
Well, first of all, she asked part of it to you. Were you in her class
I think I was.
when she was Miss Olson?
Yeah, Grant Wood. It was
Yes.
great. It's a great school.
But she asked if I still made the eggplant parmesan.
Oh boy.
That it was always her husband that liked so well. And I was going to answer and say, yes, I do occasionally. I don't make it often. Nowadays, when I make it, my daughter Lisa comes over and helps me spread and fry it
That's right.
one day, and then we make it the next day. We do it in 2 days.
Well, it takes a lot of work.
And then we make about 3 or 4 big
Trays
trays.
of it, yeah.
Or sometimes I think maybe this year I will make a tray before Christmas, one to give to Lisa, one to give to Linda, one for us, and maybe one to send to Vincent.
Okay.
But I don't do it regularly, but yes, I still do.
Isn't that great?
And
that
we
she
still
remembers
all
that?
love it. My eggplant
great.
parmesan.
That's right. That's right. We do.
And I'm glad you asked.
Yeah. It's a great dish. And when people have it, they just want to have more of it. And they still remember it after all these years. Isn't that great?
Yes.
I just want to say one thing about Grant Wood. What I remember about Grant Wood was, first off, you were a substitute teacher there for a little while, but then you started to have your own class, and then I was like walking around in the halls, like sort of with like preferential treatment because you were a teacher. So if I was in a class and a kid acted up, they would 9 times out of 10 call Michael, the teacher's son, to go and get the principal or something like that. And then after I left there from 5th grade and went to 6th grade and 7th and 8th, that never happened again. So
Well, I didn't think it really did.
no, it was a little bit because they knew that they could kind of trust me, and and then I would go to the principal and I would come back, and for a little bit, some of the teachers would sort of ask me to do things normally they wouldn't ask a kid to do.
I totally don't remember that.
I do.
Because I was thinking you were
wouldn't
treated.
know. Well, you wouldn't know.
But I do remember when I was teaching in that area of third, fourth, fifth grade, and I would see you in the group. You weren't in my homeroom, but when we did a group together.
I don't think I was ever in your class.
Yeah, you were. We were groups. We would switch off. Somebody would do science or somebody would do that.
Okay.
And I'd look over and I'd look, gee, that kid looks familiar. And it was my son. But then he was just treated like everybody, and he called me Mrs. Latone.
Right.
And
right.
So we tried to be very professional about it.
I think
but
we
anyway, Ruth, I'm glad you listened. I remember you dearly and clearly.
I love that school because it had something I've never heard of before. Well, what did I know as a kid? It was called IPI. And
it's independent learning.
And what was interesting to me is that every kid studied at their own pace, and he had a little tote tray, and you went to the little board there with all the papers and all the lessons, and you pulled them out as you went along, and you kind of worked at your own pace, kind of.
We were one of the few schools that went through this as a trial. We didn't keep it. I don't know, we had it a year or 2 years.
Was it IPI?
Individually, something, I think it was IPI.
Yeah, I think it was IPI.
Meaning individual training for each child.
I thought it was just great.
I'd forgotten about that.
I remember that.
That's come I still have all those tote trays downstairs.
That's right.
That I got, because everything was used.
The tote tray went under the desk, and it kind of slid in a little, like a hinge or something, like a drawer. But it was a plastic tray that had all your stuff in there.
It was individually prescribed instruction.
There you go. You got it.
I got to think about API, what it really meant.
Wow.
That was a long time ago.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. And then, of course, they had a picture of Grant Wood there with the farmer and the fork, the rake, right?
Of the original painting.
The original painting of Grant Wood. Yeah, that was.
Yes.
That's too funny. Okay, Mom, so the first question is, what can you tell us about the very first Thanksgiving?
Well, I want to first just finish up and say about Ruth Olson to me then, and then Blum. She was so cute. All the teachers were much younger than I, because Bill McKinney and I were the eldest of all the groups.
Oh, that's right.
Well, Beth Taylor wasn't young either. But anyway, I remember how cute she was, thin little girl, many years ago.
I'm sure she's still cute.
With her short haircut. I'm sure she's.
So as far as I remember, it was Beth Taylor, it was Judy Ward, it was Ruth Olson, and it was Buxom something.
Yeah,
Mrs.
I can't
Buxom?
quite remember
I thought
the
Mrs.
name.
Buxom got married when we were in school, but as far as I know, and the janitor was Miller, Mr. Sid Miller.
No, that was the gym teacher.
Oh.
That was the gym teacher. Wow, you can tell. Let's get off of this one. We didn't clear this one out.
He was the gym teacher?
Yes.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Okay, of course.
I'm sorry. Okay, now, Mom, tell us about the history of Thanksgiving. When was the first Thanksgiving?
Well, in November, in the fall, after the harvest season, in 1621, a good number of years ago, the first Thanksgiving Harvest Festival, as it was called, of the Pilgrims at the Pilgrim plantation, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And the settlers were held a harvest feast after a very successful first season. And so after their first corn harvest proved to be so successful, they, under their governor, William Bradford, had a celebration feast with a group of the colony's Native American allies, including Wampanoag chief of the he was chief of the Wampanoag Indians, and he was chief Megasot.
Okay.
Megasot. Now, there was an interesting little factor there that when he said he invited them, well, actually, I had read that the Pilgrims were firing their guns and playing games to celebrate.
Oh.
So the Indians went to sea, and they stayed for a few days.
Oh.
They camped outside. There was a lot of tension. They weren't quite sure what was going on. Don't know for sure if turkey was served there. But it was interesting to know the Indians came. It didn't make a big to-do. Pictures show how welcome they were.
Yeah.
But they said there was a number of tensions going on
That wasn't
between
really
them.
the case then.
Yeah.
No, okay. Okay. So these Wampanoag Indians were living in New England, right? Are there any Wampanoag Indians living in
New England.
New England now?
Well, they prefer to be called Native people rather than Indians.
Okay.
Yes, there's up to 4,000 to 5,000. But an interesting factor, it said that the North American Native Americans did not celebrate the arrival of the Pilgrims, as it is a reminder of genocide of millions of the people, theft of their lands, and relentless assault on nature. Sort of like our feelings on Christopher Columbus when we talk about celebrating his day.
Right.
So I kind of think, though, they must celebrate Thanksgiving in general with the rest of the people in the country. They are Americans, but maybe they just don't pinpoint the idea of the Pilgrims there.
You mean the Indians?
Yeah, the Indians.
You mean to this day? You think they celebrate some kind of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think they'd celebrate Thanksgiving.
Based on the fact that they were there in 1620?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
That the whole United States has Thanksgiving.
Right.
We have so many people that have come from other countries, and we all get a holiday, and many celebrate Thanksgiving. It's an American holiday.
It's an American holiday. That's right.
To me,
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit about the food. It might not have been a turkey. So what did they eat at the first Thanksgiving?
Well, it's interesting. We do not know if they really had turkey.
Okay.
But we know they had waterfowl, venison, lobster, clams.
Lobster?
Yep.
I want lobster for Thanksgiving.
Berries, popcorn, maize. Maize was their name for corn.
Okay.
I think there's stories told about how the Indians helped them learn how to plant the corn. That they dig a hole and put a dead fish in to fertilize it, and this would grow the corn plant,
I see.
maize plant better. But they also had their English gardens that they grew, like what they grew in England. And they had cabbages and carrots and cucumbers, parsnips, turnips, beets, onions, radishes, lettuce, and spinach.
Wow.
And they also had seasonings like sage, thyme, parsley, marjoram, fennel, anise, dill. And they also had beans, squashes, and pumpkins.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Could also have had artichokes and could have had wild onions and garlic. They also had cranberries and Concord grapes, native nuts like walnuts and chestnuts.
Wow.
Now, many people dried out during the summer or so, or the seasons when berries and currants were ripe, and they dried them to add them later to their dishes.
Oh, I see.
So they had quite a bit of food to eat.
What kind of meat did they have? They don't really mention meat.
Oh, yes. Venison.
Besides the fish. Oh, they
Venison.
Okay.
Waterfowl, lobster, clams. They were on the ocean.
Sure is a combination of things. Yeah.
And popcorn and maize. Yeah, I said that earlier.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So maybe not quite pumpkin pie, but they had pumpkins.
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Now, I said this was 1621.
Yeah.
In 1789, November 26, under President George Washington, a day of public Thanksgiving was formed, and it was the first time it was celebrated under the new Constitution.
Oh, I see.
In 1863...
I know who was president then. That was Abraham Lincoln.
Yep, yes. Had a national holiday. It became a national holiday during the Civil War under the guidance of a woman called Sarah Josephina Hale.
Really?
And she sort of made it to commemorate a way to unite the country.
That's right.
During the Civil War.
And I think President Lincoln thought that was a good idea at the time, so he declared it a national holiday, right?
Yes, in 1863.
Wow, that's great. That's
now,
great.
I remember my Thanksgiving, but every person in a family remembers things differently. I was the eldest of 6 children, and my brother Lee, living today, is 13 years younger than I am.
Okay.
And he remembers my mother, they would have putting a tablecloth over the whole table
So-
after they'd eaten about 1 o'clock.
Okay, so this is Thanksgiving dinner at your mom's house after you left
Oh.
and got married and lived in Chicago.
Yeah.
So you
Must
were
have
gone.
been, 'cause I don't
so you
remember
were
it at
gone,
all.
and you were 7 when you got married, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So he was like, what? He's 13 years younger.
Yes, he is.
So he was like what? So about like 14 or something like that. Yeah,
All I
yeah.
know is he
Okay.
remembers putting a tablecloth over when they had dinner around 1.
So they ate the big Thanksgiving
Uh-huh.
dinner,
And
then,
then-
they put a tablecloth over it.
Yes,
And then
a
what
cloth.
they do?
And then they all went for a big walk.
Oh.
And we had 500 acres,
Wow.
so they must have walked somewhere on those acres.
Wow.
Over to the Willamette River or something. And then when they came back after their long walks, they cleaned up and they took the tablecloth off, warmed the food, and ate again.
Wow.
And I told Lee,
That's
I
great.
said, I don't remember.
So they
this
didn't
at
have to
all.
like put it up and take it out
Yeah.
again or
No,
all that.
yeah.
And the best thing about it is when they went for a walk, they didn't have to wear masks. You get it?
Oh, that I do.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I remember though, we always had turkey. We never had an Italian salad like we have with lettuce.
Uh-huh,
We always
uh-huh.
had cabbage salads
Yeah.
or Jello. We always had the potatoes and the gravy, and
Wow.
I remember we had carrot salad,
Carrot salad.
grated carrot salad.
That sounds good.
Or we would have scalloped potatoes, more German style, and pies. We didn't have cakes that much, but we had every
Pies,
pie
huh?
because we had cherries and
Oh, that's right.
peaches and
So you
apples.
grew
and
you grew Bing cherries. You grew.
we grew cherries, many kinds of cherries, and we had apples, and we had rhubarb,
Wow.
and we had pear, peach. We had many pies.
Wow.
And
That sounds good.
no, it was good. One thing is if we ever got an orange or a banana, that was great because we ate everything we grew on the farm.
Oh.
But we had to buy oranges or bananas. So if we had an orange or banana, that was a special treat.
Because you couldn't grow those on the farm.
No. So we grew other kind of fruit and
Wow.
berries. Yeah.
That's interesting. And Grandma did a lot of canning too, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
she had a whole room that was like 10 by 10 with shelves all around on it. And full of all kinds of fruit, vegetables canned, juices. I remember the tomato juice with the green peppers in it. That was the best thing ever. And her pickled crab
tomato
apples.
juice with green peppers. Wow.
And of course, every kind of fruit
Wow.
and vegetable. And I told you about, the corn.
You-
It was so
I remember
full of the juice
we
and
talked
stuff.
about one of the titles of one of the shows we did was "And Those Marvelous Beets." So
Oh,
she did those beets.
I used to, when I went back to Chicago, I would invariably steal, I didn't really steal, she gave it to me, a couple of cans of the jars of the beets. She made the best pickled beets in the world.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, yes.
Those are great. Well, we try to make those today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. They're
Now,
good. They're
you're
good. They're really
about
good.
the cooking for
Oh,
us.
Oh yeah. So
What are we going to have?
well, yeah, I went grocery shopping today, and I got a lot of things. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, Mom. So here's the list that you put together, and I'm pretty sure I got mostly everything. I got a 14-pound butterball turkey.
Which is so small for us.
Oh well, usually it's a 22-pounder, but you know
Yes.
what? I couldn't remember buying one any bigger than like 20.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time finding one that was like 22 pounds. Maybe what I might do is I might just cook the 14-pound in the smoker because it can only be up to 15 pounds, and then we'll cook a big one like an 18-pounder in the oven, and then we'll have all kind of leftovers. I might just do that. So we might do 2 turkeys for 2 of us, and then we'll have turkey galore. We could hand it out to folks who weren't able to have a turkey. So then we're going to have a green bean casserole with the little crunchy onions on the top. And by the way, if you go to Walmart, they do not have anymore because everybody bought them up. So everybody's apparently doing the same thing. We're going to have Brussels sprouts with mashed potatoes, and I got your cranberries, and we'll cook that with a little bit of crushed pineapple and a regular Italian salad, right? And I needed to get one thing, otherwise Mom would not even touch her salad. I had to get wishbone because we haven't had wishbone Italian dressing in a long time. I had all these other ones. She's like,
with wine vinegar.
what do you have to put on here? I don't see
Yeah.
wishbone. I go, Mom, I'm out of wishbone. I got to get more wishbone. So I got the robust wishbone. It's going to be nice. It's going to be really
And
nice.
Italian bread and pumpkin pie.
Italian bread, pumpkin pie, whipped cream, and I guess I got 2 5-pound bags of potatoes because Mom says, I really want to make my potato salad. And
I love potato salad.
As long as we're cooking, we're just going to make that to half, but we'll probably have mashed potatoes with the dinner. So we needed like 2 bags of potatoes, I guess. So that'll work out just fine.
Oh, and some sweet potatoes you're making on the air.
So I got this air fryer, this
Yeah.
Ninja XL 5.4 liter air fryer, which means I could put a whole chicken in there. I mean, if you guys ever tried an air fryer, man, it's pretty cool. I mean, the other day, you think about frying things and it's not good for you, but you cook it with the hot air. So I thought, hey, why not try some French fries? So I got some potatoes and I started chopping them up into French fries like an idiot. I mean, because I didn't know what else to do. And then I put them in there and they came out okay. And some were like wide and big and weird size. I'm not like a real precision slicer when I'm making French fries for the first time. And then I go to the grocery store and I see frozen French fries. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I just buy them? And they had frozen sweet potato fries. And they had onion rings. So I came home and I go, Mom, what do you want? I don't know. I'm not really hungry for anything. How about a little piece of chicken and some onion rings? Onion rings? Yeah, I want onion rings. So I showed her the frozen bag. And in like 5 minutes, I come out with like a whole dozen of onion rings. And she goes, wow, how did you make them so fast?
They were beautiful and delicious.
That thing is so cool. Just remember, try to cook things that you would normally cook in oil and cook them in there, and they come out really, 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 really good. Right, Mom? Mm-hmm. All right, Mom, so here's a question that's a good one. Since Lillehammer is over, what have you guys been watching lately, huh? Anything good on TV?
Oh, boy. We've been watching The Undoing.
The Undoing.
One more show next
right.
Sunday.
It's
with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Good photography, good dialogue.
Really
Tense,
good dialogue.
on your toes all the time.
Donald Sutherland's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what an actor. And the thing is every show ends on like this cliffhanger, and it's like, what?
And the
Are you
phone
kidding
rings.
me? Now I have to tune in next week. It's just
everybody
really
calls
good.
you then.
It's an HBO miniseries, and right as soon as it's after, the phone starts ringing off the hook. People are like,
Who
"Did
do
you
you
see
think
what
it
happened?
was?
Oh my God, what do you think? I never would have thought that." I mean, it's just really done well, really done well. And then what? There's only like 5 of them or something like that. So the next one is next Sunday at what, 8 o'clock or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that?
the last one.
So 8 o'clock on Sundays
Yeah.
on HBO. The miniseries is called The Undoing. So you guys check it out and go to our site and tell us what you think because, man, it's a good one. You guys are really going to like it. So, Mom, I forgot to mention that when I went to Costco, they had these organic red beets, Geffen organic red beets, and an awesome recipe on here. All you need is a 1/4 cup of sliced red onion, a 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar, and a 1/4 cup of sugar and a teaspoon mustard. And you mix it all up, and guess what?
With the beets.
It's awesome beet salad. And guess what? The beets are already cooked. All you do is slice them and you're ready to go. Let's make that and have it on the side too. What do you think?
I love beets.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Oh.
Well, that's about it for today, folks. See you guys next week. And remember, what did the paper say, Mom?
Set a place for Zoom.
That's right. And have a happy Thanksgiving.
Have a Zoom Thanksgiving, Fran and Mike. Like it. Should we do it again?
No, I think that was great.
All right. All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.